Hello and welcome to this episode of Mobility Features. We are at Ashok Leyland's facility in Hosur called H1. It makes engines for all kinds of vehicles manufactured by Ashok Leyland. Recently, the company has set up a dedicated line to make LCV engines, which is completely manned by women. Today, about 80 women work in this facility. Let us go and check out how they assemble engines. Ashok Leyland has the vision to be one among the top 10 CV makers in the world, and it believes that light commercial vehicles can help accomplish this objective. Therefore, a second assembly line was commissioned at its Hosur plant. Called Hosur 1, this plant has a cumulative installed capacity to make 2.39 lakh engines per year, of which 1.39 lakh engines are for light commercial vehicles, 1 lakh for H series, that is for heavy commercial vehicles, and 9,000 units for ZD30 engines that power its Partner and Mitr models. The new all-women assembly line was conceptualized to have the best ergonomics, state-of-the-art assembly technologies, parts and sub-assemblies feeding system, supply chain and logistics. All these have Industry 4.0 enabled machines. With an installed capacity to make 65,000 engines per year, the new assembly line is operated completely by 80 women to make engines from start till the end. However, the total number of women is 129, as others handle functions like supplying the material, checking the quality, housekeeping, etc. Let us hear from Mr. Ganesh Mani S., Chief of Operations at Ashok Leyland, on the objective of setting up an all-women assembly line.
The concept has all come from a very important strategy of diversity and inclusivity, which is a part and parcel of our culture in Ashok Leyland for many years. Very specifically, if you ask me, before 10 years itself, we have started using this woman power in our Pantnagar line in a pocketed manners on various initiatives of making the trucks itself. So we understood the power of women, of what they can always do. And also we all strongly believe that any scope of work which is never defined by the general diversity at all in terms of how we are able to manage it. So as you know that very well, our Ashok Leyland is celebrating 75th year of establishment now. During the Diamond Jubilee, how we can do it little different, more than what we have been doing it across. At the time, we should actually speed up our process. As you could see that in this last 1 year period of that, we have been initiating so many initiatives, like the way speeding up in terms of bringing up the alternative fuel technologies, bringing up new models to the customers, and also the way how we expand our network, and that also in terms of manufacturing footprint, how we actually convert all these things into a single all-woman led line here. And that's how it all started from there.
These engines will power Dost and Bada Dost models, which contribute up to 90% of Ashok Leyland's light commercial vehicle product portfolio. Called P15, which means Project 1.5 liter engine, the 3-cylinder motors are made for 2 different fuels, diesel and CNG. It also makes engines for power solutions business for applications in genset and such things. What are the benefits of the all-women assembly line?
So this year's our new tagline is Koi Manzil Dur Nahi. Number 2 is that our vision is to become within top 10 top commercial global players in the world. So keeping these two things together, this particular line is actually in line exactly happening with what is kept in this mind. It's been established just 3 months back. Now we have already reached the highest level of capacity of this line. The team is extremely jubilant. Yesterday I was here to really appreciate them, and they are absolutely gango to go about a capacity of 172,000, and also to the peak capacity as and when required to the level of 232,000 engines from this plant alone of P15, for which huge amount of market. There is a whole amount of buoyancy, so the way how LCV products are being assured by our customers of domestic as well as international market.
What are the special initiatives taken at this assembly line?
As always, we work on improving the way how the ergonomically people are working. And more specifically, while we consider this, we also wanted to make sure that can we actually work on the way how the bending can be eliminated, how the stress level of the people when they work can it be automized or make them much more easier. And the most important thing is how the entire atmosphere can be made much more comfortable. So keeping all those three areas, we have done on close to 66% of the process are automatic and semi-automatic. 33% is close to manual process. In those areas, how can we make all these girls who already got so much of experience, some of them, and also bring people from other diverse culture. The diversity also does not talk about a single place of location. They have all come from various states of the country. Some of them from Pantnagar, Uttarakhand, some of them Kerala, some of them from Tamil Nadu. So it all based on a conclusive of everything put together. We made it such a industry 4.0 enabled line. We can always work in these directions. Yeah.
While the nuts are getting tightened up, it actually goes through mechanical structural changes. So while the gun is actually working in a particular way, these torque wrenches make sure that how much is the torque level was applied during the time of tightening itself. Okay, so it also measures the torque level, the way how it is achieved. So that's a very important input also. So that flows back into the system, gets recorded, and going forward we can always use for predictive management of how these torques are going.
The assembly line has 72 stations and is divided into groups. At the cylinder head zone, the basic sub-assemblies of cylinder head are put together. At the short block line, the cylinder block is getting assembled. The main line, also called the long block, is for marrying the cylinder block with the head. Besides, it has a couple of sub-assembly stations. All put together, there are 74 stations capable of assembling multiple variants of the engines. This line has several electric nut runner which are easier to handle for varied sockets and multiple torque requirements.
In terms of automation and automations, we have got around 150 plus robots installed in all other places. Today, in fact, we could actually take you down to the line, which is again a digitally enabled and 4.0 industry 4.0 enabled lines. And we have started something called as the MPAS, which is actually in a comprehensive manner across all the plants put together in a common way of making industry 4.0 enabled lines.
The line will stop if anyone skips any operation. It has a unique system called pick to line, enabling the women to pick only the right components based on the variant getting assembled in the sequence. All these are possible due to Industry 4.0.
So unlike a passenger car industry, the chassis is in front of you, CV. It's not that you need to undergo to do anything, because you make it and then tilt it and then use it back. So the body gets built over it. So that becomes, first of all, the very easy way of maneuvering it in a big way. But we are also will be exploring these kind of additional facilities going forward, and the way they are comfortable about it. So we introduced something called as ALCAT, which is Ashok Leyland's Smart Innovation and Automation Teams. Just recently launched, and that way people are given these kind of exclusive tasks and the kind of options to really come out with themselves. Some of those things are very, very beautiful. It doesn't require so much of technology into that. Some of them actually, they are all being trained on those areas. I think going forward, next time when we visit, probably we can show a couple of examples of how our associates and the people on the executives come back together and they do it. And for the last 25 years, believe me, we have not even missed 1 year wherein awarding these kind of, in a ceremony like this. It's a massive program.
The company follows Ashok Leyland production system, which has 5 pillars: safety, quality, cost, people, and productivity. As part of this assembly line has a quality navigation station where the manual checking is completely converted into a robotic checking with artificial intelligence and optical character recognition cameras. At the end of the line, there is a robo to scan the entire engine. There is a reference engine and 71 parameters are checked at this station. The robo will not pass the engine if any external parts are wrongly fitted. How is digitalization helping you?
In 75 years, we always kept customer satisfaction as the topmost agenda. Earlier, it used to be highly people-oriented, skill-oriented staffs, while we were anyway managing all those things. Now, utilization of these, technology is helping us in a big way. I'll give an example of how we are doing it and what we're planning to do also. And technology is multiple way it is being, enabling us to do as well. We have already seen at OCR on the line, right? Optical characteristic recognition. That is primarily, it keeps taking photographs and also understands whether it is originally there or not. It's not only doing that, it is also collecting so much of a data. Nowadays, systems are coming like, you call it as a YOLO. You look only once, a kind of a new open source, systems are available, wherein our own boys and girls can actually get into that. They can maneuver all these programs and convert it into the new set of requirement which is coming. Gone are those days wherein you have to really bring back the person who installed you and asking him to do changes, because our industry is not an industry you have to wait for outsiders to do. So those things are done by our own people on this. LiDAR is another fantastic example. LiDAR is enabling you, is going on that, our AGV, and this LiDAR is a simplest way of understanding, program it so that it understands the, as tomorrow you expand your line, all you have to do is just go and once you train, and that training path it will always go. So that's where, we wanted to create a separate distinction between we and others in terms of enabling our own shop floor girls, what we have seen today, and also the boys who are already there for many years, to train them, to convert them into a data scientists now. And we are going to extensively giving training to them and make sure that these people actually do it themselves and they feel proud of what they are doing it.
Now, let us hear from some of the women associates working in the dedicated assembly operations.
அதுல நம்மளோட பார்ட்ஸ் ஏதாவது இருக்கணும், நம்மளோட வேலை செய்யறது ஏதாவது அதுல இருக்கணும்னு ஒரு இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் வந்தது. நான் எனக்கு வந்து தெரிஞ்சது இந்த மாதிரி லேடிஸ்க்குன்னு தனியாக ஒரு கன்வேயர் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது நான் வந்து இன்டர்வியூ வந்து அட்டன் பண்ணேன். என்னை வந்து சிஎல்ல வந்து எடுத்தாங்க. எனக்கு வந்து 1 வீக் ட்ரைனிங் கொடுத்தாங்க. அப்புறம் 2 டேஸ் வந்து சேஃப்டி கிளாஸ்லாம் எடுத்தாங்க. எனக்கு அது வந்து ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருந்தது. இப்போ இங்கே எனக்கு வந்து நான் மேரிட் கேர்ள், எனக்கு வந்து 2 பசங்க இருக்காங்க. என் பொண்ணு ஸ்கூல் போகிறா, பையனை வந்து இங்கே க்ரீச் ஃபெசிலிட்டி இருக்கிறதுனால இங்கே வந்து நான் சேர்த்துருக்கேன். எனக்கு இங்கே ரொம்ப முக்கியமானது வந்து என்னோட டைமிங் எனக்கு ரொம்ப செட்டாக இருந்தது. 8 to 4:30 இங்கே ஒர்க்கிங் டைம். நான் வீட்டில் போய் என் குழந்தைக்கு ஹோம்ஒர்க் சொல்லி தரது, என் குழந்தைங்களோட டைம் ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு வந்து எனக்கு இந்த ஒர்க்கிங் டைம் வந்து ரொம்ப செட் ஆச்சு. ஃப்ரூட்ஸ், வெஜிடபிள்ஸ், வீக்லி 2 times எக்ஸ், எல்லாமே எங்களுக்கு வந்து ஹெல்த்தியான ஃபுட்ஸ் தான் வந்து இங்கே சப்ளை பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. ரொம்ப ஹாப்பியாக நான் வந்து ஃபீல் பண்ணுறேன் சார். ஏதாவது சடனாக நம்ம கிராஸ் பண்ணும்போது தோஸ் வெஹிக்கிள் ஏதாவது போனோம், இதில் வந்து நம்ம போட்ட இன்ஜின் வந்து இருக்குமோ அப்படின்ற ஒரு மைண்ட் செட்டில் வந்து ஒரு சின்ன ஹாப்பினஸ் இருக்கும் எனக்கு.
Sangeeta says engine is the heart of any vehicle and she wanted the engine of Ashok Leyland vehicles to have some parts made by her. Mother of 2 children, she says that the working hours are suitable to take care of the family as well. Whenever she sees those or bada those on the roads, she feels elated because she was part of the manufacturing of their engines.
எக்யூப்மெண்ட் ஹேண்ட்லிங் வந்து ரொம்ப ஈஸியாக இருக்குது. ஏன்னா இங்கெல்லாம் கிட்லேயே கொடுத்துட்டு இன்ஜின் பின்னாடியே வருது. அங்கன்னா நாங்கள் தனியாக போய் எடுக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கும். அது இங்கே கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது டைமும் சேவ் ஆகுது. ரொம்ப எங்களுக்கு ஒரு ப்ரைடாக இருக்குது சார். விமனுக்குன்னு தனியாக ஒரு லைன் இருக்கிறது வந்து ரொம்ப ப்ரைடாக நாங்கள் ஃபீல் பண்ணுறோம்.
Here is Karunya. She says she has been working in the company for the past 1.5 years. She worked in Module 1 earlier. She feels that handling equipment at this dedicated assembly line is easier as the kits come along with the engine. She feels proud and honored to have an assembly line dedicated for women.
எங்களாலையும் முடியும்னு சொல்லிட்டு they gave us an opportunity, so we feel very proud. சென்னையில இருந்து வந்து இங்க ஸ்டே பண்றதுக்கு சேஃபா ஃபீல் பண்றோம்னா சோ அந்த அளவுக்கு இவங்க வந்து எங்களுக்கு செக்யூரிட்டி கொடுக்குறாங்க சார்.
Kirtika says that a dedicated assembly line for women, she feels she can prove her mettle in manufacturing also. She came from Chennai to work here and feels safe as the company takes care of all the women employees well. Would you replicate all women assembly line at other plants of Ashok Leyland?
If you ask me, as the answer is a resounding yes. Primarily because this plant is able to do it in a shorter span of time in terms of quality level and also in terms of quantity level, match the existing our module 1 already, which clearly imposes that women can do as good or in fact as better than in any of the other lines also is concerned. We don't differentiate between two genders, but it's more of a healthy competition between these two plants are concerned. Going forward, you will definitely have a much more great and surprising news, and we will definitely invite you to those lines also as we keep implementing it over a period of time.
And incidentally, we've set a target of 0 at 100 in terms of sustainable practices, because we are in 75th year. By the time we turn 100, we want to become absolutely zero in terms of carbon emissions and all the scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 is concerned.